next week's patch, including some more details on what to expect in it, as well as the release date of it, alongside some community broadcasts on both visibility changes coming hopefully soon, and some firestorm quality of life improvements. This is your week on the battlefield. Welcome to this episode of This Week on the Battlefield, the show where we cover news, updates, the community, and so much more, all around the Battlefield franchise. In this episode, then, we have further details on next week's patch, the first shimmers of hope on coming changes for visibility, a few bits of information surrounding leaked melee weapons and their models, as well as more maps coming for Squad Conquest. Of course, the usual community discussion this week surrounding animations and dev overtime, and lastly, of course, some brilliant only in Battlefield moments for you guys to enjoy. In terms of next week's patch then, we only have a few more details from what we had previously, but the most important of which is of course when to expect the patch. We'll be getting the patch notes a day before the patch on Monday the 29th, and then of course on Tuesday the 30th of April we can expect the patch to go live. Besides the previously mentioned addition of a camera shake slider, as well as more control over the landing animations as well as a shortening of them, we also know that we're going to be getting the elite sets and seamers for next week's patch. And we're also going to be getting some changes and additions to combined arms, thanks to the addition of matchmaking for that mode and 2 new missions set on Fiel. In terms of other things to expect next week besides the patch, we should be getting 2 exciting community broadcasts, one on visibility changes in terms of what the team has been working on and what the team is going to be implementing, hopefully in the near future, and another community broadcast on firestorm quality of life improvements. This comes alongside the announcement that we will actually eventually be getting a firestorm roadmap. The irony of announcing the announcement of a firestorm roadmap, which is thought to announce additions to the firestorm game mode, is relatively obvious to everybody, and the fact that things like roadmaps tentatively should be released when the game mode shows up is no secret. That aside, it's definitely not going to harm to give us a little bit of an overview of what content to expect for those who do actually enjoy the Firestorm Battle Royale mode. In terms of other smaller bits of news that we should cover in this week's episode then, we have of course Squad Conquest here to stay permanently supposedly, as long as players actually enjoy the game mode and play it. So if people keep on playing Squad Conquest, DICE isn't actually going to remove it anytime soon. For a matter of fact, they intend to add 3 new maps in Chapter 4 this summer. Now, presumably this will be 3 new Squad Conquest maps on either some of the newly to be released maps or existing maps that we don't currently have a Squad Conquest variant of. I don't expect them to design entirely new maps for this game mode, that would be very untypical. Nevertheless, that will be a fresh breath of air for the game mode, as 3 maps in a map pool is arguably quite limited if you're going to play the game mode for any lengthy period of time. Also, in our usual bit of leaked and additional interesting news from the Reddit forums, we have some leaked models on some of the yet to be released melee weapons in Battlefield 5 with a Panzerschreck for scale. As per usual, I'll leave a link to the full Reddit post down below so you can check out what kind of stuff Temporeal has been able to dig out of Battlefield 5's files up until this point. In terms of community news then, there's only really 2 major topics of discussion this week, and they are night and day, completely different. The first was surrounding animations in Battlefield 5 and the role they played. This of course stirred up by the fact that we're going to see essentially a reduction in how impactful they are in the game, thanks to the shortening and additional control being given over landing animations in the coming patch to be released this Tuesday. Now, there's some interesting discussions over on the Twitters and of course on the Reddits as well. In my opinion, as the opinion of many of my fellow community members, animations don't necessarily have to be as prevalent as they currently are in Battlefield 5. Then again, certain animations do have their place in terms of balancing and purpose. For example, tank and vehicle exit animations do have the added benefit of avoiding tankers abandoning ship too soon and the person who takes out the tank not being able to get their kill. Also, it gives any kind of hostile infantry player around the vehicle a little bit of a warning that somebody's getting out and they don't just pop out right in front of them and shoot them in the face. Especially annoying if you're trying to, for example, sneak up on a tank with dynamite and suddenly in a clown car fashion, 7 people just appear in front of you because they press the E button to get out of their tank. That aside though, you can have your own opinions, feel free to leave me those down below in the comments. The second topic that went through the community this week was dev overtime and crunch, not only for the release of games, this has previously been discussed over in the Battlefield community, but also because of the need and the work stress that maintaining a live service model provides. This came up in connection to Epic Games Fortnite, which of course has a whole different level of live service to provide to a far larger community, and there was revelations there that some of the developers there were working up to 100 hours, which stirred up quite a bit of discussion, not necessarily in terms of whether that was good or bad, but more in terms of how it could be combated and stopped, and what kind of steps devs or the community should be taking so that everybody who works on the games also actually is still alive and not just a half-dead zombie. But moving into our only in Battlefield moments then. For our first clip today, we have Rob as a dog showing us exactly how to deal with some of the most obnoxious campers I have seen actually over on Panzerstorm, bringing of course one of the biggest guns he can bring to the fight and wiping them out in style. Next up we have Stinker Ace with, simply put, an absolutely brilliant rogue kill. For our last two clips this week, then we have two beautiful sniper clips sent in. The first by Jaywalking, perfectly executing a 299 meter collateral headshot. Absolutely beautiful. And the second by Oni Blitz over on Grind, taking advantage of the flanking opportunities that game mode presents him as Recon, combining a couple of skilled headshots with a whole bunch of throwing knife kills. Whoever thinks those have become ineffective or no longer usable, I have plenty of absolutely brilliant clips on the Only in Battlefield series where people make short work of a large amount of enemies with throwing knives, so I'm not quite sure why they're underpowered or not usable, but feel free to let me know just why I'm wrong down below in the comments. But with that, we come to the end of this week's episode then. If you enjoyed the show, found it interesting or entertaining, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share, and of course hit me up with your feedback, suggestions, and opinions down below in the comments or over on Twitter. With that being said, however, I'd like to thank you very much for watching and hope to see you in the next episode of This Week on the Battlefield.